Imagine waking up every single day believing the world is still at war. Imagine hiding deep inside a jungle for nearly 3 decades, waiting for an enemy that never came. This is not a legend. This is not a movie. This is the true story of Hiroo Onoda, the soldier who continued fighting World War II for 29 years after it ended. Onoda survived starvation, loneliness, fear, disease, tropical storms, and a loyalty so powerful, it turned him into one of history's most unforgettable men. This is the story of a man who disappeared into a jungle and into myth. Hiroo Onoda was born in 1922 in Japan. He grew up in a strict household where discipline was not just taught, it was demanded. Japan at the time was a nation preparing for war, and children like Onoda were raised on values of honor, sacrifice, and absolute devotion. From a young age, he heard the same words. A soldier never surrenders. A soldier never brings shame to his country. When World War II erupted, Onoda volunteered eagerly. But fate had something unusual planned for him. Instead of traditional combat training, he was selected for specialized guerrilla warfare school, a place where the mind was shaped as much as the body. Here, he learned infiltration, survival, deception, and how to carry out missions with no support and no end date. By 1944, Japan was losing ground, and that's when 22-year-old Lieutenant Onoda was deployed to Lubang Island in the Philippines. The situation was desperate. His mission was clear but terrifying. Disrupt enemy operations, destroy supply depots, gather intelligence, never surrender, never take your own life. Continue the mission, even if Japan falls. These final words would shape the next 3 decades of his life. When American forces began their assault on the island, Onoda and a small group of loyal soldiers escaped deep into the jungle. They were young, determined, and intensely loyal to Japan. Before disappearing into the dense forest, they made a promise to each other. We will return home as soldiers, or we will not return at all. But fate would soon test that promise. On August 15, 1945, World War II officially ended. Japan surrendered. Cities fell silent. Families wept with relief and exhaustion. But in the dense shadows of Lubang Island, Onoda never heard the news. He never saw a radio announcement. He never received new orders. To him, the war continued because no one relieved him of duty. When leaflets were dropped from planes with the message, "The war is over. Come home," Onoda refused to believe them. In his training, he had been warned, the enemy will use lies to trick you. And so he whispered to himself, "This is propaganda. I will not be fooled." And with that, he stepped deeper into the forest and deeper into isolation. For years, Onoda survived on coconuts, bananas, wild fruit, and rice he stole from nearby fields. He built makeshift shelters from branches and leaves. He learned every sound of the jungle, every bird, every rustle, every storm. To him, these sounds were not nature. They were warnings. At night, he listened to distant village celebrations, music, laughter, fireworks, believing they were enemy strategies to lure him out. Any sign of normal life looked like a trap, as months turned into years and years turned into decades. Onoda fought not only hunger and exhaustion, but something far more dangerous. Sometimes he wondered, what if the war truly ended? What if my country no longer needs me? But every time the thought crossed his mind, he remembered his orders. Orders that burned into him like fire. Never surrender. Continue the mission. And so he endured. But the jungle was not kind. Over time, his uniform decayed until it barely clung to his body. His boots split apart. His equipment rusted in the humidity. And the companions he once depended on began disappearing. One soldier surrendered after losing hope. Another died in a firefight. Another was killed in a skirmish with local police. One by one, Onoda buried his comrades or watched them fade away. Eventually, he was completely alone. And yet, every morning, he would wake before sunrise and polish his rifle with leaves. Every night, he patrolled the jungle like a ghost soldier. He believed Japan would one day return for him. 29 years is a long time to be alone. 29 years is a lifetime without a home, without family, without the truth. But Onoda endured because he believed his sacrifice mattered. Then, in 1974, everything changed. A young Japanese adventurer named Norio Suzuki began a journey with a strange mission. He told his friends, "I'm going to find 3 things: a panda, a wild man, and Lieutenant Onoda." People laughed, but Suzuki was serious. After weeks of searching the dense Philippine jungle, he stumbled upon an aging man in worn-out clothing, carrying a rifle from another era. It was Hiroo Onoda. Suzuki approached carefully. Onoda raised his weapon, but instead of fear, Suzuki smiled and spoke gently. "Onoda-san, Japan has been searching for you." For the first time in decades, Onoda heard words spoken not by locals or enemies, but by a fellow Japanese man. His heart trembled, but still, he refused to surrender. He told Suzuki, "I will not leave, I will not surrender, not unless my commanding officer relieves me of duty." Suzuki returned to Japan with a message that shocked the nation. Hiroo Onoda is alive, and he is still fighting the war. Japan located Onoda's former commander, now an elderly man running a small bookstore. They flew him to the Philippines. He walked into the jungle, calling out for the soldier he once commanded. When Onoda emerged, they looked into each other's eyes. Both older, both changed by time. Then, with a trembling voice, the commander said the words Onoda had waited 29 years to hear. "The war is over. You have done your duty. It is time to come home." Onoda lowered his rifle. For the first time since 1945, he let the war end. When he returned to Japan, crowds filled the streets. Some saw him as a hero, a man of unbreakable loyalty. Others saw him as a tragedy, a man lost in time. But Onoda himself said, "I did what I believed was my duty." Nothing more. He lived the rest of his life quietly, teaching survival skills and reflecting on the heavy cost of obedience. He became a symbol of loyalty, endurance, and the emotional scars war etches into the human soul. Hiroo Onoda's story reminds us that the battles of war do not always end on the battlefield. Sometimes, the longest war is within the mind. If this story touched you, subscribe for more true World War II stories that the world must never forget. And tell us in the comments, do you see Hiroo Onoda as a hero or as a tragic symbol of war? Your voice helps guide our next stories.